When you wake up and realize that Wizards of the Coast has spoiled a bunch of new cards today, you realize it's going to be a good day. When you look a little further and realize all the cards that are being spoiled are for a green focus set, you know you're going to have a great day. Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles. We are here today apparently to talk about Commander Collection Green. This was not originally the intended video that I was going to do today. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on in the world of Magic, and I'm trying to figure out whether I need to make like combination news videos or how I'm going to handle this. This isn't even the only batch of spoilers that we're going to talk about. So, Commander Collection Green is an 8-card set. You buy the booster, you get all 8 cards. So it's not a randomized style Magic set. We're going to take a look. We've got all 8 cards. 75% of them are green, which admittedly feels a little bit weird. But hey, if the Commander players want to kind of chime in here, I'm not a Commander player, so you'll be able to let me know how exciting this product is for you. Now, the first card we're going to talk about is the one that's already on the screen, and that is Worldly Tutor. So this is 1 green for an instant. Search your library for a creature card, reveal that card, shuffle your library, put the card on top of it. Now, from a purely power perspective, this feels about where a tutor could be without feeling overpowered, right? You get to go for a creature for only 1 mana, but you put it on top of your deck, which means you need another way to take advantage of that, or you just have to wait another turn to get the card. So in terms of tutors, it feels strong, but not overpowered. It combos very, very well with a whole bunch of green cards that specifically allow you to access the top card of your library and care if it's a creature. So from that perspective, it's pretty solid. The flavor text says, a single chord brings them to heal, a whole song and they dance. And that's Yisin, the Wanderer Bard. Now that's actually a pre-existing card. So this is now a quote attributed to that legendary creature. And I do like that vibe. I mean, you can see in the artwork, Yisin is doing his thing. He's wandering along and he has charmed all of these beasts with his music. It's an old kind of trope, like music soothes the savage beast sort of thing. And I've always dug that vibe. We saw it previously in Magic with Elvish Piper as well. So the idea that you can use in some ways like magically enhanced music to call beasts to you, that's a great feel. I like that. And it feels very green as well. So this to me is an excellent addition to the set. Now the next one we're going to look at is Omnath, Locus of Mana. And can I say I absolutely love this card on every single level. 1 green and 2 for a 1/1 legendary elemental. You don't lose unspent green mana as steps and phases end. What an interesting change of phrasing, right? Omnath is from an older time in Magic, not the old days, but from an older time in Magic. And basically the older wording would have been, I may not remember it exactly off the top of my head, but something along the lines of green mana doesn't empty from your mana pool. Something like that kind of scenario. But now it's changed to you don't lose unspent green mana as steps and phases end. And I have to say, in all honesty, that feels a little more clean and simple. So for somebody who's not as familiar with the concept and doesn't understand the idea that like every single phase and step that you move into gets rid of your mana. So people will think, I can dump some mana into my mana pool, move into my attack, and the mana's still there. Or if I gain mana during my attack, it's still there afterwards. And that's not the case, right? So this language change is an upgrade, in my opinion. Now, Omnath, Locus of Mana gets +1/+1 for each unspent green mana you have. That's also an interesting terminology change, right? It makes sense. It's like, okay, your mana doesn't get spent, so you'll have unspent green mana. Here's what you do with it. So this to me definitely feels overall like they've cleaned up the concept to make it easier to understand. And I'm 100% for that. And dude, I mean, honestly, just the idea of this card, an elemental that's like tapped into, like it's a Locus of Mana, but only green mana. And actually Omnath is an interesting character because as he's gone along, we've seen him adding colors to himself. So we could get to the point where we have a 5-color Omnath as he's attuned to every color of mana. And who knows, even take it a step further, where link him in with a colorless mana symbol and have a 6 different symbol version of Omnath. But I've always loved the green Omnath, who lets you keep all of your green mana, and while he's keeping that mana, it's like he's storing it in his body, because he becomes more and more powerful the more unspent mana you have. And the flavor text says, from the royal emerged a ravenous primordial being of pure mana. That is such a cool concept. You have an elemental of pure mana who can attune itself instantly to any green mana regardless of where it comes from. It doesn't matter if it comes from his home plane of Zendikar or if it comes from a completely different plane of existence. Omnath can key into all of it. And he looks godly here, honestly. Omnath looks really, really impressive. To me, the artwork is depicting him set against the night sky, towering like a behemoth over mountains. Like, those are mountaintops at the bottom of the artwork. That's how it looks to me. And he is just there. He's the only thing that you can see for miles. There's nothing else in the distance, right? And he's lighting up the night sky. And not only is he this like vibrant glowing green, there's this swirling maelstrom of green mana that's twisting around him. Now, is this just something that follows him around, or is literally that more mana? Are we seeing a moment where more mana is being drawn into him, and that's why he's so bright up at the top? Man, this is such a flavorful card and a sweet, powerful card as well, dude. Seems like a really good choice to include for Commander Green, especially since he literally makes an amazing mono green commander, right? Like, dude, I'm 100% down with this concept. Get him with some silly nonsense like mana triplers and everything, and just absolutely go to town. Now, the next card is genuinely surprising to me, and that's Sylvan Library. I have an original Legends version of this card, and I was not expecting them to include it in this set. So it's 1 green and 1. At the beginning of your draw step, you may draw 2 additional cards. If you do, choose 2 cards in your hand drawn this turn. For each of those cards, pay 4 life, or put the card on top of your library. So this is a pretty sweet sort of like deck manipulation, extra draw style ability that green normally doesn't get much access to. Normally when you're going to dig into the top of your deck, it's going to be to look for creatures or lands specifically. This allows you to draw extra cards. Yes, you have to pay life, but I mean, that it feels very much almost like a black effect, right? Where black is like pay life for resources, power at any cost. So this is a very non-green feeling card, you know? Now, the artwork is where they lose me. I really don't get it fully. I mean, you've got, it looks like monks that are playing banjos while they float with little cloths draped across their laps. And I guess like it's supposed to be knowledge words that are flowing around them. Like, I'm gonna be real. This artwork really looks to me like they just had a piece of artwork kicking around that they had no use for and decided to just try and like, maybe somebody in the office pitched the idea of like, look, like the monks are like, it's a library of knowledge that they play out through musical instruments or something like that. Like, these monks are the storers of knowledge. Like, and then the rest of the people there were just like, okay, sounds good enough. You come up with the justification. We can use the art now. Because to me, I don't know. I don't have a big blown up version of the art to see. So maybe there's details that I'm missing that would make this make sense to me. But I really like it when like the flavor of a card, the name of a card, and the artwork all tie together. That is something I genuinely appreciate when dealing with Magic cards. So for me, I've got to say this is a miss. Like, I wouldn't put this in my cube over the Legends version. You know what I mean? Like, the artwork just doesn't feel like it connects. But in terms of like, Now that I've said that, let me put the artwork aside and say it's a great card to include. Like, Sylvan Library is really hard to come by. I can see how Commander players would love it. And it's a reasonably good card, like in terms of scarcity and value as well, to include, to make it feel a little better buying these packs. I don't know what the cost on the packs is going to be. The next card we have is Seedborne Muse, and that's 2 green and 3 for a 2/4 spirit. And it says untap all permanents you control during each other player's untap step. The flavor text says, the land echoes our intentions. The kami echo the land. We must strive to live in harmony with the world even when it seems to rise against us. Diary of Azusa. Dude, that's really, really cool. When I saw the artwork, I thought to myself, dude, this looks like it's from Kamigawa. It really does. Now, let's talk again for a second about artwork that was originally intended for something else and has been repurposed. Because while I feel like the Sylvan Library art repurposing was not a good fit, this is most likely artwork they still had kicking around from Kamigawa. I could be wrong about this, right? It's just a theory. But Wizards does have this stuff called slush art, where for a variety of different reasons, they couldn't use the artwork. Either the card got scrapped or the artwork that was turned in didn't match the card enough. Whatever it is, they end up with this slush art. And for sets, wherever they can, they try and use these because they like, it costs them a lot of money to get this art made. So anytime they can repurpose artwork, it essentially saves them money by them not having to commission new artwork. They can just use an existing resource they've already paid for. And that's what this feels like to me. However, they could have decided that to tie in with the fact that Azusa existed, they could have commissioned a brand new piece of artwork too. I'm not saying that's what's happened here, but if it is what's happened here, it's a fantastic use of it, in all honesty. Really well done. This artwork totally feels like the concept of a Seedborne Muse, right? This spirit being that's in, like, it's in touch with your lands, your sources of mana. It's in harmony, it can infuse them, and it's got this sort of like peaceful nature vibe where it's just focused on infusing energy. Like, that's what it's there to do. There is nothing aggressive about this. Like, if you showed me this artwork and asked me to assign a power and toughness to it, honestly, I would say, what is that, a 1/1? Maybe like a 1/3 or something? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't feel like it's meant to engage in battle whatsoever. It definitely feels as well with the crazy, like, leaf arms that are infusing energy down into this plant that's growing up. Like, dude, this is a home run. This is great flavor. The artwork is beautiful. The card itself is great. The flavor text referencing the whole Kami's rising up against, because what happened in Kamigawa was intense. That's an amazing storyline. I really look forward to getting into the lore there and telling you guys the stories of all that stuff, because it's really good. Now let's move on to the next card. Seedborne Muse is a great include. I feel like I'll just keep going on and on. Next up, we've got the Pirate Frey Elise. Frey Elise, Llanowar's Fury. And this is 3 mana and, 3 generic mana and 2 green for a 3 loyalty planeswalker. It's +2, create a 1/1 green elf druid creature token with tap, add a green mana. It's -2, destroy target artifact or enchantment. It's -6, draw a card for each green creature you control. And Frey Elise, Llanowar's Fury can be your commander. So they toyed around with this whole planeswalkers can be your commander for one particular iteration of the commander deck. So one year's theme was planeswalkers as your commanders. And Frey Elise obviously is the green one here. In terms of the abilities, they all feel very, very green, right? I mean, creating essentially Llanowar elves, the green elf druids that tap for a green mana, yep, 100% green. Destroying an artifact or enchantment, 100% green. Drawing cards for each green creature you control, 100% green. So, overall, the flavor of it fits. I mean, the artwork's all right. You got Frey Elise looking like a pirate here. She's got some mystical winds flowing off of her. There is some lore about Frey Elise. There is some stuff to talk about, but off the top of my head, I genuinely can't recall it. I saw that this got spoiled, and I was just like, dude, we need to talk about this. No time to research into the background of particular characters. Speaking of which, I just saw that they spoiled Baron Sendra as well, and we're going to have to talk all about him. Anyways, let's move on to when I said this was 75% green. We've got Command Tower. This is the one that I take biggest issue with in the pack, personally. And this is one where if you're a commander player, you can let me know how you feel about it. So they put these commander towers in a bunch of the original commander decks, and they put them as common. And now they're just printing them arbitrarily with a rare symbol. I don't particularly care for that, but I understand the optics of it. They want you, when you open the pack, to be like, it's all rares, right? So Command Tower is a great commander land. It taps for a mana of any color in your commander's color identity. The flavor text says, absolute power is the only true authority. Anything less is a lie told by the weak. And that's from my boy Garruk Wildspeaker. Ah, dude. I love Garruk. He's so cool, man. Just this, like, nature-aligned planeswalker, just cares about gigantic, strong beasts. I love it. He's got this almost feral vibe to him. It's absolutely cool. I do like the fact that they aligned the flavor text to go with a green planeswalker. I do dig that. But when it comes to including, like, colorless cards in a, like, here's your green Commander Legends, and it's like there's 6 green cards in here and 2 colorless cards. So yes, you can use them in a green deck. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like that's a little bit of a letdown, but then when you move on to the other card that's colorless in this, it's Soul Ring, right? And Soul Ring is so good that it makes sense that they would include it. Like if you're playing Commander, you want a Soul Ring. And while it's not a green card, they did green align this one enough that I really love it. Like the artwork shows this tree stump with the Soul Ring itself floating above it and nature energy and leaves. It's got this whole nature vibe to it. And the flavor text says, deep within the heart of the forest, a new sun flared to life. Like, dude, that's really cool. Soul Rings are supposed to like harness the power of a sun, right? And so just like a green one, dude, I love the flavor of this. This is great. Soul Ring's a busted card. I mean, 1 mana tapping for 2 is just absolutely out of control, right? We all know that. So I think that if they had put 7 green cards in and the Soul Ring, I would be less mad about it. It's really the Command Tower that I have a problem with, if we look at it truthfully, all right? And then we've got a card that's absolutely, if I'm cool with the Soul Ring being in there, but this next card is not, and that's Bane of Progress. 2 green and 4 for a 2/2. When Bane of Progress enters the battlefield, destroy all artifacts and enchantments, put a +1/+1 counter on Bane of Progress for each permanent destroyed this way. How does that not feel amazing, right? This is, first of all, a board wipe that nails every artifact and enchantment. On top of that, this creature grows from this. Just having this in the cube is enough for me to know that just in a 2-player game, this card is nutty. I can't even imagine what it's like in a big old Commander game where you got 4 or 5 or more people. You play one of these, all these enchantments and artifacts are popping off, and all of a sudden you've got like an 18/18 Bane of Progress, like, let's do this. That is an awesome, beefy feel, you know? And the artwork is pretty straightforward. It's a crazy, like, vine elemental-ish kind of thing that is literally it just consumes the artifacts and enchantments. It goes around eating everything. Anything it considers unnatural, it just consumes. And each thing it consumes creates another branch-like tentacle arm that it can reach out and grab other things to consume. Into my mouth you go. That's amazing flavor, dude. The flavor text, oh, what? What? Oh! The flavor text says Urza's forces tore across Argoth, and Argoth responded in kind. Oh, I love it. I love it, dude. I love it. You know what I mean? Like, this was never referenced in the Urza storyline. It wasn't. But this kind of elemental could totally have existed. When it comes to the Brothers' War, it was all about destruction and artifacts and the laying waste of nature, and Argoth totally was like the last bastion, and they like kind of battled back, and this totally is something that could have been on nature's side because they had gigantic natural titans. Oh, that's so cool. The Urza storyline is my absolute favorite. Like, guys, right now, that's actually, like, this book is part of the original, like, Urza timeline storyline. And I'm doing lore on that storyline over on my other channel right now. Like, literally, that's what we're engaged in. A brand new Karn lore video comes out tomorrow. I'm super stoked about it. Dude, I love it. The flavor text is such a small touch, but oh my God, I love this so much. That's so awesome. What a fantastic include. Dude, I love it. Throwing the players who have been around since the early 90s, like me, a bone. I love it. It makes me so happy. So for me, this product gets a big thumbs up. The command tower is the only one where I go, man, not feeling it. But overall, absolutely love this. Want to grab a copy so I can slap these cards in my cube. I would use that Sol Ring. I have a French black bordered version of Sol Ring, but I would use that green forest Sol Ring over it in its place because I love that, man, that stark stump. Anyways, those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like what I'm doing here, like, comment, subscribe. That stuff's all great for the channel. If you love what I'm doing here, jump on my Patreon. If you like magic flavor lore, you want to know about that Urza storyline I was talking about, get on over to my Fantasy Geographic channel. Another dope lore video dropping tomorrow, and we're having a great time over there. My favorite thing about Magic is the flavor, the lore, the stories. That's what got me hooked on the game in the first place, and that's the biggest deal for me. So anyways, I'm gonna head on out of here because there's more videos to make, more stuff to talk about. Check back in because YouTube might not send out the notifications because of how many videos might be coming out. So thanks for coming by, my friends. Goodbye for now. See you soon.